Tonight we have
Hey, wake
something
up.
with the Hello everyone, and welcome to the Sim Auto Racing Association Super Late Model Series here at USA International Speedway. This is the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series and the Dynamic Autosports 125. Tonight we have 30 of the top iRacing Super Late Model Series racing drivers battling out here for 125 laps for the first race of the season. There are 12 races in this season, and this is the first one to top it off, and that everyone comes out bringing out their A game. Now, we do have a new series sponsor in Sim Marketing Solutions, and Sim Marketing Solutions introduces real-world sponsors to sim racers and works with them to ensure they receive maximum benefit from their exposure to the sim racing community. So definitely go check them out and give them some love. Like I said, they're a new series sponsor, and we greatly appreciate that. Now we have tons of new stuff here in the Sim Auto Racing Association this season.
Hey, wake up.
Basically, with these super late models. This is the Super Series. This is the top-of-the-line series where everyone comes in here and battles it out with the best of the best. We also do have a Contender Series now that was racing last night. And the Contender Series is for anyone that feels that they may not be able to compete with the best. So think of it as maybe your Xfinity Series or trucks, or maybe even the ARCA in real life. And they come out to the Contender Series on Wednesday. We had 61 cars show up for that. There's 3 different races, and we spread those out so that way they can get plenty of laps under their belt.
You were moved.
You're on the wrong link.
Here tonight, as well as some of them did do that, and the race winners from those races last night are in this race here tonight. So we'll go ahead and bring in the series admin, as Matt Rolfe. He gets all this stuff set up here. We'll bring him in so that way he can talk a little bit more about this new season, new sponsors, and about the race tonight. Matt, thanks for joining us up here in the booth, taking a little time out of your practice session here. I just stated, about the new series sponsorship here in Sim Marketing Solutions and talked a little bit about them. What other things can you, shed some light on for the new season here?
Yeah, we're excited to get this new season underway here tonight. Got a lot of good things going on in the league this season. As you mentioned, we got a new sponsor. Sim Marketing Solutions has stepped up on board to sponsor our Super Series, so appreciate them. Our Super Series this season is invite only, so these drivers you see here tonight were invited by a special invite to running with us here tonight. Some of the best on all of iRacing will be here competing in this race, so hopefully it's a good show. Really excited about the season. We've added a secondary super late models division as well that ran last night. I think we'll talk to Dallas Pataska here in a couple minutes about that. But yeah, a lot of big things going on, new sponsors, new series. It's a new season, so we had a nice long off season. We're ready to go.
100%. I've been looking forward to here tonight to see how this all shakes out. Now, you did speak of Dallas Pataska, and we did have 61 cars, I believe, last night that tried to qualify for the Contender Series. Dallas Pataska won one of his races. Who were the other 2 that did win that are racing with us here?
Yeah, so we split that field up into 3 races. Dallas Pataska won one of them. Ryan Doucette won another, and AJ Rogers won the third. So all three of those guys, by winning last night, were guaranteed spots in tonight's race. Two of them had to use those provisionals. One qualified in on their own, but all three of those guys are racing here tonight because of their win last night.
Right, and that's kind of the point of the series, is to give them extra track time and for them to potentially qualify here for tonight. And that's the perks of winning on Wednesday, is you get your provisional to come out here Thursday and see how you hold up against the top level guys. Now, going in here for tonight for yourself, what are your expectations for you as a driver for here tonight at USA?
To be honest, I'm not really sure what to expect. Jared Boris has been working on a setup for us, so actually I haven't been able to run too many laps with it while I've been trying to get everything ready for the league in this evening. So I trust his setups. He put some good stuff together at the end of last season, so we should be all right here tonight. But I'm not expecting to be up too far at the front of the field. There's a lot of good competition here tonight. I think there's going to be about 15 guys that could possibly win here tonight, so it's just that competitive. Top 25 in qualifying, we're only 2/10 apart, so it's going to be really competitive, really tight field here tonight, and it should be a good show.
All right, well, once again, thank you for everything that you do for this league. I know that me and Clay, the producer here, greatly appreciates it, and everyone else within the league. And good luck to you tonight, and we'll see how things shake out for you, and just keep all four on the ground.
All right, thanks.
All right, bud. That was the league admin, Matt Rolfe. Like I said, he's what makes everything go around here at the Sim Auto Racing Association, puts a lot of his time and effort in on this, and he doesn't ask much in return besides just good, hard, clean racing. We'll go ahead and bring in one of last night's winners, Dallas Pataska. We'll see what see what he says, how he felt about last night. Maybe see how he feels about tonight as well. Dallas, thanks for joining us here, bud. We're talking to Matt about the new things that are going on here with the Super Series and with the Contender Series. And last night you were part of the Contender Series, and you won, so you got in here on this race. But before we talk about tonight, how did last night's race go for you?
Well, I think it went pretty good here. I knew starting the season I'm working with the dynamic guys with Challenger and Benefield, those guys back this season. So it's been a major change of pace for me, going from just myself to working with a great group of guys. So that's been the major help. Last night really showed that. It's given me a lot of confidence going into tonight's race. But yeah, last night's race, great way to practice. I thought, great idea on, the league admin's part, and turned out well for me. So I'm lucky to be here.
Yeah, like you stated, you're part of Dynamic Autosports now with Sammy Roush and Jason Tarasenko, Edwards, and Challenger and Benefield, and yourself, and Pajari, I believe, is even on there as well. So coming in with this new team, what are your expectations in coming into this season, and then what are your expectations for here tonight as well?
Well, overall in the season, kind of have to see how tonight goes, but obviously, working with the former series champion Challenger, and Benefield's right with him that summer season a year ago. I have pretty high expectations, but the big thing is to get in, finish the races, run good laps, and then kind of go from there. Tonight, primarily, I think we have a good race piece. We didn't queue well. We'll see what happens. Looking forward to the rest of the season. I think it'll go well.
All right, bud. Well, we look forward to seeing how everything shakes out here for you. And before we get you on your way and get out there some more practice laps as time's running down here a little bit, is there any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody on the card tonight. All-Star Elevators, North Country Steak Buffet, Mr. Sticks, and Dwayne and Sherry Allset for helping make this all happen. And of course, I'd like to thank Matt Rolfe, you guys putting on another fantastic broadcast, I'm sure. Just a fun league to race in, so looking forward to it.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate your time, and go out there and give him hell.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That was Dallas Pataska. Like I said, he was last night's winner in the Contender Series, and which guaranteed him a spot here in tonight's race. And he is currently 7th on the practice board, so he's definitely got some race speed. We'll see how things end up playing out for him as the night goes on. Now, I would also like to bring in one more driver, and he is your defending series champion in Jimmy Mullis. And Jimmy Mullis will be starting 7th here tonight. Jimmy, we've seen you put in a pretty decent qualifying run. Currently, it looks like you're sitting P20 on the practice boards, but why don't you tell us what you're kind of expecting here tonight, maybe even this season, as you're going to be defending your title from last season?
Expectations tonight are kind of up in the air. I'm trying something brand new with this car because I kind of struggled on these kind of tracks last season. So it's kind of a brand new piece for tonight. So we'll see how it does. It qualified pretty good. So hopefully it races pretty good. I got into practice kind of late, so my time was a little off, but I don't think we're off in race trim. We'll just have to see though. But yeah, starting 7th. Just gotta, be patient and come through the field like I did last season when I had to do it. And I think this season is a lot more stacked than it was last year, or not last year, but last season. Got a lot of new faces and a lot of faces that are familiar but are really fast. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, if there's anyone in this field, then there's going to be a handful of guys that I would put on my list of not having to worry about them. You would definitely be towards the top of that list, and it's a short list at that. So we will definitely keep an eye on you and see how you can, work your way. Like I said, you're 7th. You qualified 7th. There was a 6-car random invert tonight, so you just missed out on that. But you'll be starting next to your best buddy or close to your next buddy, and Joe Schaefer, who was battling with you last year in the title, and I suspect it'll be about the same this year. Going forward, as you're with Lockdown Racing, which I believe I got that right this time, going forward in this season, you said it is more stacked. So is there any more pressure that you put on yourself to try to be a back-to-back champion?
Not really. I try to not think about it and just, let the races play out, how they're going to play out, and we'll see where we are at the end of the day. But I think, like you said, I think it's going to be probably close to the same as it was last season, but things could be completely different. We'll just have to see. But kind of disappointed I didn't get the invert. I was hoping that I would get it, but that's all right.
We'll
do what we do.
Yeah, just missed out on it there. Is there any, before I get you on your way, there's a few more minutes left here in practice, is there any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give?
Oh, definitely want to thank you, Clay, Matt, all the guys that put in the work for not only SARA is the league, but SARA TV and all the broadcasts and everything that happens behind the scenes. You guys do a great job. Also want to give a big thanks to JD Laird. He put together a really sweet paint scheme that's been around a long time, but it looks good with my name on it, in my opinion. The CMYK car looks really good, and I'm proud to be driving it this season, and as well as Racing Virginia being on the quarter panels and Lockdown Racing with my teammates. Thanks to them for all they do.
All right, but we'll keep an eye on you out there, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that's your defending champion in Jimmy Mullis. He's always fast. He put a spanking on the field a few times last year, so we'll definitely keep an eye out for him as well. Now, going in tonight, there is a throwdown scheme going on. It's Heinz Pride head-to-head throwdown. Basically, there was a random row on the grid that was selected before the race, and that row was row 10, so it's with Drew Kryback and Justin Tremblay. And basically, for the head-to-head throwdown, the driver in that row that finishes higher than the other one wins some extra prize money. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for those two guys as well. There's plenty to watch here tonight as the field is about to grid up. And like I said, you got previous champions that are there was a little bit slower on the practice charts, but starting up towards the front. You had a 6-car invert that was going on with that, and you probably have the most stacked field that has ever been put together for a super late model series race. If we had one other guy that is probably dealing with his other real life stuff, and Ty Majeski, it would be even higher as far as the average I rating goes. But like I said, the field is gridding up here for the Dynamic Autosports 125, as Matt Rolfe has given out some instructions to the whole field to let them know what to expect throughout the race. And we'll get everyone lined up here. Well, while we're waiting on them to go ahead and grid up, let's go ahead and bring up the SARA partners. Without these guys, we cannot make these things go around. And like I said, for this series, it's Sim Marketing Solutions, Davis Chassis Works, Heinz Pride Leather and Sheepskin, Midwest Power Source Inc., Callaway Investments, Race One Us, Canadian Rail Serve, The Hub Sim Racing Giveaways, Loco Toco Designs, Dynamic Autosports, who's sponsoring the race here tonight, USO, K&M Racing Series, and the East-West Modifieds. Go ahead and bring up the grid here as well. Starting on the pole here tonight is Ryan Matthews. Second, Jim Caudell Jr. Second row is Cameron Hamilton. David Krikorian's outside of him. Zach Novak's in fifth. Joe Schaefer Jr. in sixth. Seventh is Jimmy Mullis. Eighth is Keith Medeiros. Ninth is Michael Goddard. Apologize for him for our little netcode incident last night. 10th is Ty Spearman. 11th is Daryl Hamlin. 12th is Tyler Hudson. 13th, Christian Challoner. You have to watch out for him. He's super fast, and so is Adam Benefield. 15th is Dr. Noise himself, Bill Martin. 16th is the series admin, Matt Rolfe. 17th, Dallas Pataska, who won last night, as we talked about. 18th, Brandon Wilkinson. 19th and 20th is that head-to-head Heights Pride throwdown with Drew Kryback and Justin Trumbley. And here the pace car is pulling off. Start is on Ryan Matthews, and we are green, green, green. Ryan Matthews gets off to a good start as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Jim Caudell Jr. is right in behind him. Looks like everyone's going to try to get it figured out. There's tons of laps to be had here. That's lap 1. These laps are going to click off really fast. These guys were in the 19 seconds, high 19 seconds bracket in practice. It's probably going to be in the low 20s to start out. I know Dallas Pataska last night was setting the world on fire with his pace. He was running 20.2s and 3s, it seemed like, all night. And there it is, the 1995 here on the first lap. Coming out of turn 2, Ryan Matthews and Jim Caudell Jr. are pulling away here from David Krikorian and Cameron Hamilton and company behind him as the field is starting to string out single file. Now here in the Sim Auto Racing Association, if you haven't joined us before, shame on you. But we do not take tires here in the Super Series for these super late models. There's no tires. You start on the tires that you can't change the tires. You start on the ones that you have. You can go and fix damage, add fuel if you like, take off tape, what have you. But the set of tires you have on there, stay on there at all times. So these guys more than likely will not be going down pit road for any reason unless it's something unfortunate happened to them. We also do have the gentleman's rule. And the gentleman's rule is if you cause the caution and bring out a caution, go ahead and claim that caution. One of the admins will give you an EOL for the end of the longest line for that restart. If you do not claim that caution and the admins do go back and review the race, and it is deemed that you did cause the caution without a shadow of a doubt, you will get an EOL in the results. So it's best to always take it in race if you even think that you did it. And so that way you won't get into the results at the end of the race. And we've seen wins get taken away for that, unfortunately. So, but we won't have to worry about that here tonight as we're on lap 7 of 125. Everyone's strung out. They're just kind of filling each other out and seeing what they got as Ryan Matthews is still got a pretty good pace going on here. But is it too early? Is it too soon? We did see last night in the Contender Series that, the guys that pulled away really didn't pull away too far. And then later in the race, the guys who were just kind of chilling out in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on, if they had a late race caution, they were able to give them a lot of grief or maybe even get around them for a win. We'll go on back here to 11th place with Daryl Hamlin, number 86. Daryl had a good qualifying run here tonight. He didn't think he was going to make it when I was talking to him prior to the race. And he actually had a great qualifying run just outside the top 10 is where he ended up starting. Like we got a good battle here just in front of him. was that? It looks like it may have been Jimmy Mullis that was trying to get around maybe Zach Novak. As the front two have pulled away here by about almost 2 seconds from third place. So those guys are set and sail. And if it's the green stays out this whole time, which has happened here in the Sim Auto Racing Association, you know, they're sitting pretty, but it's still early on as we're only on lap 12, now 13. Go back here to 18th place in the 45. That's Justin Trombley. He was with Drew Kryback in the Hides Pride's head-to-head throwdown, and currently he is ahead of Drew just by a couple positions. And you know, like I said, we'll have to pay attention to this little battle as he's got Trevor Edwards right there behind him. We'll pay attention to this battle all night, as there is money up to be had just between these two guys. And it looks like we got a battle for the lead. Jim Caudill Jr. was showing his nose, and I will say last night I was in a race last night in the Contender Series, as I'm not able to race on Thursday nights, so I'll go out there and help out and try to win some there on Wednesday nights. It is extremely hard to pass down low, especially as the laps get put on the track. You really have to set up the guy and get a good run out of turn 2 or turn 4. As you see Jim Caudill Jr. going down low here in 3 and 4. Guys are side by side battling for the lead, and it looks like we have our first caution of the night. It may have been Drew Kryback here, and if that's the case, that is huge for his throwdown chances there with Justin Trombley. Go ahead and pull up the SARA TV instant replay here on Drew and see what happened with him here. He's next to the 03 car, and it looks like he came up into his door a little bit and turned the 03 and got a little damage from it as well. And that's hard racing, but also tough luck, because Drew had it was Dante Curtis there in the 03. Drew had a really good run last night in the Contender Series. Battled his way up into the top 2, made a little mistake on the straightaway last night and gathered it up and made his way back up to second again, almost battling for the lead if he had a few more laps, but he runs into trouble here tonight. I'll probably go in and try to get some of that damage fixed on the right hand side as it's all beat to hell. But Ryan Matthews is still your leader, with Jim Caudill Jr. in second, Cameron Helmington in third, Joe Schaefer Jr. in fourth, David Kokorian in fifth, rounding out your top 5. Ryan Matthews and Jim Caudill were starting to put on a show there for the lead just before the caution came out. We'll see what Jim has for him here on the restarts. And last night's races, as I keep going back to that, is it's a good point of reference, because you still have some guys that are racing here tonight that raced last night, same track, same conditions. You know, the outside was able to make a little hay there early on a restart, but the bottom was definitely where it was at. And like I stated, as the longer runs kept going and the rubber got put down onto the track surface heated up, the outside was kind of the place to be where you can defend. But we'll see what happens here pretty early as we are coming to 1 to go here. They'll go ahead and double up. Restart will be on Ryan Matthews, and he can restart after the pace car gets all 4 wheels off of the racing surface. So here at USA Speedway, we will be below that yellow line. Once it's off, it's on Ryan Matthews to go green whenever he would like. Drew Kryback did take the EOL on that one, so he'll go to the end of the longest line for that last caution. Pace car's heading down into 3. He's going to pull off here and take that sharp left down to pit road. Restarts on Ryan Matthews, and it is green. He gets off to another great restart. Jim Caudill Jr. gets off to a great restart as well, as Cameron Hamilton's going to try to fill in there at third. Everyone else is going to stack in there behind him as they're double foul. Joe Schaefer Jr. is going to make a great run here on the outside here for third, and that's exactly what I stated. Is the outside's got a little bit of grip early on, but Joe's going to probably, and he does clear Hamilton coming out of fourth. So watch Joe shoot back down to the bottom, and there he goes. This is just the way the restarts play out here. Is they're still trying to figure it out there around 8th, 9th, and 10th. Zach Novak there back with David Kokorian. David Kokorian and Jimmy Mullis are side by side. They head down into 1 and 2. And we got a second caution. It looks like it was Daryl Hamlin that got spun around. He was just right in my view. Thought that one out of the corner of my eye. Looks like he might be done. He's on pit road, which is a tough break. He had a great qualifying run here tonight. Go ahead and go and pull up the replay here for him. See what happened. And he just gets loose out of turn 4 there. And these things can be kind of hard to correct. Just gets crossed up, starts swatting flies in the cockpit, and just couldn't get it going in the right direction, and just pogoed it to the inside of the wall. Unfortunate break there for Daryl Hamlin and his Devil's Backbone Brewing Company, T4X chassis Toyota Camry. So a couple cautions here, pretty quick, back to back. Cautions do breed cautions, unfortunately. So hopefully here on this next restart, these guys can get it figured out and get some good green flag racing underway here. And that with Daryl's, that was just a self-inflicted deal. He's on the channel right now saying he's not too sure what happened. It felt fine, just got extremely loose on him. Yes, I'm not too sure what happened. I'll be interested in hearing what he says later on tonight in our group chat. But there's still some other T4X guys out there that he can cheer on. And he can come back at it here next week. Currently, your top 5 is Ryan Matthews, Jim Caudell Jr., Joe Schaefer Jr. He made a great restart there in the beginning on Cameron Hamilton. Cameron Hamilton's now 4th, and Zach Novak's 5th. So we'll have to pay attention to Hamilton there and see if he's able to repay the favor on Joe Schaefer Jr. on this restart. Now, initially for qualifying, like I said, there was a 6-car invert, and Joe Schaefer Jr. was your fastest qualifier with Zach Novak, David Kokorian, Cameron Hamilton, and Jim Caudell Jr. rounding out your top 5 in qualifying. So Joe Schaefer Jr. definitely had the pace in qualifying. He had the pace in practice as well, as the posse guys were fast in qualifying practice and in race practice here. They were showing some decent speed. As we get 1 to go, once again, the restart will be on Ryan Matthews. Leader does not have lane choice in the Sim Auto Racing Association. They do have to start on the bottom, but like I said, they do have the handle on the restart, so at least they do have that in their back pocket. We'll see if Ryan Matthews plays any games, if he goes a little bit earlier than normal or a little bit later than normal. As he has some super fast guys behind him, but he's shown some great pace here so far tonight. Plenty of laps left as we're on lap 27, come to lap 28. Pace car ducks off, and we are green, green, green. Ryan Matthews gets off to another great start. So does Joe Schaefer Jr. As Joe's going to battle up for second currently. Going down to the inside of Caudell Jr. Caudell's going to get the drive out of 2. Joe Schaefer Jr. is going to fall in right behind him as it's a junior battle for second. Zach Novak's going to go ahead and get around Hamilton as they are double foul from 4th on back. David Corey and Jimmy Mullis there having a good battle. Probably some of the 2 best looking super late models out there. Mullis wasn't wrong about that paint scheme. It looks good. Now, if you want to see a paint scheme, you should come out on Wednesday nights. The 3-car, the producer, Clay Snyder, he's got a gym that he's pulled up for the SARA TV sponsorship car. It's pretty slick. And if you ever want to join this, if you ever want to come out and see what you got with some of these guys, go over to simautoracingassociation.com. You can sign up there, be a part of the league. We race Monday nights, which is our dirt league. We got the midgets and UMP cars. It's split season there. Tuesday nights, we got the Callaway Investment Street Stocks. So, you know, if you feel that you aren't ready for super late models, you can try street stocks out, go for that. Everything's open set up here. And, you know, if you think you got something, then for the super late models, come out for the Contender Series and, you know, show you what you got. The Super Series is invite only, as Matt stated earlier in the broadcast if you were with us. So you can't just jump right into this, but come over to the Contender Series, as some of these guys out here tonight running the Contender Series as well. Now, David Krikorian looks like he's stuck on the bottom here. And, you know, with these cars, and momentum is everything, as it is with most race cars. But he's just getting killed on the top, or while he's on the bottom, the top side's going, and he's falling backwards as he looks a little bit loose there out of 4. He might be wanting to be moving up anyways if he's that loose on the bottom, trying to hold the car down. Looks like he got loose again. If you're already having to start to pedal it here now coming out of the turns, he's going to have a long night ahead of him. And DK's a super dirt racer. He's really good on pavement as well, but he's good on dirt, so he's going to be using his throttle control experience with the car here tonight to make sure he doesn't loop it around. Got Benefield that's coming up behind him, and his new looking ride for this year in the pink and white car. That's last night's winner, and Dallas Pataska in the 57 is just ahead of Benefield and David Krikorian. So he's already worked his way up to 11th place. As he stated, he felt like he had a good race car here tonight, even though he didn't qualify nearly as well. Still hanging on David Krikorian here, and unfortunately he's going the wrong direction. And I doubt he's taking it easy on his stuff. I know he doesn't want to fall back this far. So right now he's battling an ill-handling car. We'll go up here to Michael Goddard there in the 7 car, and him and the old Wiley vet Ty Spearman's looking under him as they go down into 1. I'd like to thank Ty Spearman, Sammy Roush, Joe Schaefer Jr. For help adminning last night. Contender Series, and Spearman and those guys are out here battling it out now tonight. Spearman's still trying to work over Michael Goddard. Michael Goddard had a good car last night in the Contender Series as well. He was running in the top 5 pretty much all night, and unfortunately me and him had a huge netcode issue there while we were battling for 4th. And there's about 5 foot between us, and got turned around there towards the end of the race. But he's obviously showing that he still has plenty of speed here tonight, as well as they go back down into 1 and 2s. They've been battling side by side here now for about 5 or 6 laps. Ty Spearman and the Posse machine, and unless my trading paints is jacked up, that's Michael Goddard's in the just the Florida machine. Go back up front here, and we'll check out what Jim Caudell Jr. is doing. So he's on the rear end of Ryan Matthews as he looks down into 1, showed his nose, but what he's doing is unique, as he's arcing it up in the middle of the turn, and he's squaring off the exit just a little bit so he can get a good drive off. There he goes as he has a high late apex into 1, and then he's squaring it off coming out of 2. There's some guys doing that last night with some great success. The hard part is pulling off the pass. We'll see what he does here as we're working on lap 42, 43 now of 125. Got a little bit of a green feel to it. We'll see if he can work over Ryan Matthews. He's probably going to try to pass him on the outside. I don't know if he's able to get his nose up to his right rear quarter or not, as he's not able to do it coming out of 4. And if you're Joe Schaefer Jr., you're probably just sitting back and watching, relaxing a little bit, not using your stuff up, and see if these guys can get it figured out. As he's got Zach Novak, Hamilton, and Mullins there just a little bit ways behind him, as Caudell gets a great run out of 2 there, going down to 3 and 4. They are side by side now. As we come out of 4, we'll see if Caudell, and he doesn't have the drive, and that's what I'm speaking of. It's hard to get that drive off the bottom there. Going to square him up once more. He's going to look down low. That's extremely close there on the rear bumper of Ryan Matthews. Caudell's just a little loose out of 4, loses a little momentum. Guys are having a great battle. And it looks like that Caudell's a little bit better in 1 and 2, but down here in 3 and 4, Matthews is just good enough to hold him off, and Caudell's going to need to at least be up to his left front. Left front to make the pass. Yeah, let's go on board here with Joe Schaefer Jr. Let's see what he's looking at as these guys keep battling it out. We'll go down here into turn 3. We'll stay on board here with him a couple laps. Coming out of 4. Going back down into 1. And he's taking an early entry and just letting it move up just a little bit, but he's hugging that yellow line. He's lower on exit than these two guys are as well. Now I know his teammate Drew Krabak had extremely great drive late in the race out of the turn. He was super fast, so we'll have to see if that holds true for Joe Schaefer Jr. here tonight. As you see, Caudell just up just a little bit. He's going to square him up right here. He's got another good run on him coming down the backstretch. Probably going to show his nose. He didn't. So he's just staying right here on Ryan Matthews to pressure him, maybe making a mistake. As Joe Schaefer Jr. inches just a little bit closer. There goes Caudell going down to 1. Ryan Matthews shuts the door on him, so it's not this time. These guys are just battling back and forth. They're still running 19.9s, or I'm sorry, they're running 20.8, so the pace is back down just a little bit. We go off board there of Joe. His button box shop, Loco Toco Designs Ford Fusion. Matthews and Caudell Jr. have been all over each other this whole race so far. Starting to see the top 9, 10 guys are starting to kind of almost throw a blanket over them here. There's a little gap in between. There's little groups of 3, but I'd say probably get about another 10 or 15 laps, and you're going to have everyone nose to tail. It looks like Ryan Matthews maybe holding up Caudell Jr. and Joe Schaefer Jr. just a little bit, but they just don't have enough to get around him. As we have a bit of a caution. We can get our spotters to say who exactly that caution was. Maybe may have been. Well, I'm not 100% sure who it was. Spotters were in the ice cream stand. It might have been Sammy Roush, as his car's bent up in the front and rear. If it's not him, he'd probably be able to tell us who it is. Maybe David Kokorian. We'll go back here on the replay of Roush and see what happened. Oh man, he gets clipped by the 45 car. That's Justin Trombley. That's with him and Drew Krybacker going for the head-to-head for the Heinz Pride's head-to-head throwdown. But tough news there for him is Sammy Roush was just an innocent bystander. It looks like maybe Justin Trombley and another car got into it coming out of the turn, and got all crossed up and came into Roush. So it's an unfortunate break there for Samuel Roush. We'll have to see where Kryback and Justin Trombley end up coming out for each other. It looks like Kryback's 8 laps down, so Trombley outside of having major damage and going out of the race. I think he may end up coming out on top, but still plenty of laps. Ryback's on pit road getting his car straightened out there a little bit. Go back up front here. Ryan Matthews is we've had 3 cautions so far, and Ryan Matthews has led every lap of the race. There's been 0 lead changes. He also has the fastest lap of the race. So like I said, he's showing some really good speed, but there towards the end of that run, the field was starting to bunch up just a little bit. So he may be just starting to slow down just a tad, but not enough for Jim Caudell Jr. or Joe Schaefer Jr. to do anything with him at this point. Justin Trumley and Samuel Roush coming off pit road there, just ahead of the pace car. Ryan Matthews, he's out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, and his S&M Auto Service, Mechanicsville Paint and Body, Denise Matthews Real Estate, Ford Fusion. A great run here tonight. See if he can come away with the win. Right now, your top 5 is Ryan Matthews, Jim Caudell Jr., Joe Schaefer Jr., Zach Novak, and Cameron Hamilton. Top 10 hasn't changed too much. Looks like Tyler Hudson has made an appearance there in the top 10, 9th. Dallas Pataska is 10th. Fast cars that are in between the 11th and 15th place spot, like Adam Benefield, Christian Chandler, Bill Martin, Trevor Edwards. Go ahead, throw Keith Medeiros in there too. Might as well not leave him out. So this top 15, super stacked. As we're going to be coming back to green here. Once again, it's on Ryan Matthews to get us going. Pace car is off. Oh, yeah, Jim Caudell Jr. tried to time it. Matthews gets out in front of him. It almost cost Caudell a black flag for jumping the start, but he should be okay as he back down. Pulls right in behind Ryan Matthews as he go down 3 and 4. Joe Schaefer Jr. and Zach Novak are battling out for 3rd. We'll see how Joe is able to hold off Zach Novak being on the inside on this restart. You got a Posse and Lockdown Racing guys, as it looks like Posse comes out on top currently. But if Joe looks in his mirror, got Lockdown Racing, but he's got his Posse T-Bane and Ty Spearman just behind those two guys. We're a single file from 1 through 8. Go back here to Michael Goddard and Keith Medeiros. Just speaking about Keith Medeiros, apparently he got a great start as he's battling it out here with Michael Goddard. And there's Tyler Hudson. There's a 2x2. Hudson's going to take him 3 wide as they go down into turn 3. Not sure. They may make this work out as they're 3 wide still in the middle. Oh, and it looks like Goddard gets a little bit of help. Does he collect it? Oh, and there goes the caution. That was super tight racing there. Michael Goddard got the raw end of the deal of that one. That was just a tough break there on Michael Goddard. We'll go back and watch the replay here once again. Tyler Hudson gets a great run out of turn 3 and 4. Takes them 3 wide. And they got it figured out going down into the entry. Hudson's all the way down to the bottom a little bit. He's getting squeezed, and it's just extremely tight racing all around. As AJ Rogers gets caught up in that, it looks like everyone else was able to make it through. Goddard gets a little bit of damage, but that was just a tough break all the way around. You had Keith Medeiros on the outside trying to hold his line and make it through, and then you had Bill Martin just on the outside of Michael Goddard there a little bit as well. Chandler and Benefield just behind them. Super tight, super fast racing. It's unfortunate. Contact won't happen here at short tracks, especially at the Sim Auto Racing Association with these fast guys. They know they got to go. As we still do have some time to get through this race, but before you know it, time will run out with these fast laps. They're clicking off. And last night's races, we did experience, as I stated, unfortunately with Michael Goddard as his second spin in 2 nights with netcode. Last night was the netcode was bad in all the rooms here. I know it happened with our producer Clay Snyder, if I'm not mistaken, once or twice, and it happened with a few other guys. So with that incident, there could have been some of that there. Looking at the replay, I don't think that there was, but it would take a little bit slower a little slow motion and a different camera view to pick it up to see if that's exactly what happened. Michael Goddard's on pit road right now, and I'm just trying to get everything straightened out. And Unfortunately, he's a couple of laps down here currently, back in 26. So just a super tough break there. Just hard racing. He had a great night going. And it's going to be end up cut just a little bit short here once again. But if there's anything you can take away from the past 2 nights, so from tonight and last night, is he has had really good speed, and he was running up front in both those races. So hopefully his luck can turn around here fairly quick going into next week, because we'll be at Stafford Speedway next week for the Midwest Power Source 150 at Stafford Speedway. It'll be at the same time as it was here tonight at 10 o'clock. You can catch us on SARA TV. It'll be a late afternoon race, and you'll see these guys battle it out again there at that flat short track. Should be a great race. Should be coming to 1 to go here. Yes, we are 1 to go. Double them back up. We'll see what other tricks that Jim Caudell can try to pull out of his hat here. Last restart, he jumped away early, and Ryan Matthews waited on him, and then he finally took off. We'll see if Jim ends up maybe lagging back about a half car or so there on Ryan's door to try to get a better restart, because if he can stick on that outside, as we've seen here so far tonight, the outside can work early on the restarts. As we're coming back to the green, the pace car will be ducking off. Caudell's more in the car back. He may get a warning there from the league admins for lagging back on the restart, and it's not going to do him any favors. Joe Schaefer Jr. gets off to a great restart himself as they go back down side by side into 1 and 2. See if Schaefer can make this work. If anybody can, it will be him, as he's been rolling the bottom here tonight really well. Go back down into 3 and 4. Jim Caudell Jr. may have been his own worst enemy on that restart. They are side by side, still going down into 1 and 2. Got Zach Novak and last season's champion and Jimmy Mullis right behind Zach Novak, and then Ty Spearman just rounding just outside the top 6. They are still side by side. As the stated, Joe Schaefer Jr. might be able to pull it off as they get really close coming out of 4. It does tighten up on you there a little bit, especially if you're the inside car. Looks like Caudell, well, we got another caution there. Way in the back. Looks like maybe our league admin and Matt Rolfe got caught up in that one a little bit. Go ahead and pull up that replay and see what happened, and, well, maybe not. He may have got just through that extremely late. He already had some damage in it. We can catch who else it was. It was Trevor Edwards pointing the wrong direction. Go back and check him out real quick. And it looks like him in the can't get it pulled up there, some technical difficulties, but it looks like him in the 25 car. See who that is here real quick. If Tyler Breeding may have gotten into it here, getting into 1. Yeah, Breeding just gets into his left rear a little bit. Edwards gets looped around right in front of David Kikorian. Some other guys kind of barely touch and move on their way. Breeding did take blame in that, so he will be getting the EOL. Tough break there for Trevor Edwards. He's out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Midwest Power Source, best overhead doors, Toyota Camry with Dynamic Autosports as well. Once again, thanks to Dynamic Autosports for sponsoring the race here tonight for the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. Then we are at USA Speedway, which is just a little over 6/10 of a mile track that no longer exists in real life, but does in sim, and it's a great one to race on in the sim here at Lakeland in USA. Air temperature is 74 degrees. Track temperature is 74 as well, as we got 5-mile-an-hour winds out of the southeast. It's mostly cloudy skies, and we're approaching lap 73 as we counting down these laps. So far, it's been the Ryan Matthews show as he's led every lap so far here tonight. And he got the pole due to the 6-car invert. Joe Schaefer Jr. was your fastest qualifier here tonight, but due to the 6-car invert, Ryan Matthews and Jim Caudill Jr., who's currently second as well, started on the front row. Biggest loser in all this is David Kikorian. He started 4th here tonight due to the invert, had a good qualifying time. He just got caught up in that last wreck. And unfortunately from the start, he just kind of started going backwards, so he missed the setup here from the race for tonight. He's currently 19th. He's going to try to salvage the best finish that he can here. Like we may have a new player in the top 10, and Bill Martin. He's in the 39 Pepsi Cola. Pretty cool looking car there out of the Posse, and the Chevy SS as we're double back up. Now brought it into the top 10. And Dr. Noise, he was their opening song there for the SARA TV. So thank you for him for providing that for us. We're going to be coming back to green. Cars are doubled up down here down the backstretch. Ryan Matthews is probably running out of tricks on his restarts. And we're going to be coming to lap 75 of 125. And we'll see what he does here. See what Jim Caudill Jr. more importantly does, because in the last restart he screwed the pooch. And Ryan Matthews is away, and Joe Schaefer Jr. gets off to another great restart. Schaefer throws it down into turn 1. Looks like he may come out on top just past. Not yet, as Caudill battles it back on the outside. Schaefer may get him here coming out of 4. Yes, he'll have him clear coming out of 4. New second place runner, Joe Schaefer Jr. As Jim Caudill Jr. is now starting to get some heavy heat here from Zach Novak. We'll see if Joe Schaefer Jr. has anything for Ryan Matthews. Caudill Jr. has been just all over Ryan Matthews' bumper here for pretty much the entire race and hasn't been able to do anything with him, as now he's defending off Zach Novak. But we'll see if Joe Schaefer Jr. can run down Matthews and yeah, see if he can maybe take the lead. We'll go back here to Adam Benefield, and this is him and Keith Menderos is running side by side. Got Tyler Hudson behind him and Christian Challoner just below him in the 78 car. Just a big old gaggle of cars. 56 car there behind them is Brandon Wilkinson. These guys are battling here for the top 10. And it shows you the caliber of guys. Christian Challoner, you know, he's the Pro Series driver. We have a couple of them in here, a few of them here tonight. He's Pro Series driver. Benefield's super fast driver. Same way with Hudson. Everybody knows who Hudson is. And, you know, these guys are trying to just battle into the top 10. Shows you the caliber of cars we have here tonight. Just for that, any other race, these guys would be up front and dominating. Here tonight, they're just trying to get into the top 10. Still plenty of laps left for them to do so, as these guys are still battling side by side. Menderos moves Benefield up just a little bit as he's going to clear him coming out of 2. Challoner and Hudson still can't get it figured out there for 13th place. Challoner's looking low there on Benefield. Benefield and Challoner are teammates, so you know Challoner's probably going to give him just a little bit of break and just see Benefield get down low and fall back in. Challoner and Hudson are still battling side by side. We'll go up here to Joe Schaefer Jr., and he is running down Ryan Matthews. As I stated earlier, Drew Kryback last night with the Posse had a really good car from about this point to the end of the race. Drew made a couple of mistakes, self-admittedly made a couple of mistakes, and he probably would have won the race. And you got Joe Schaefer Jr., who's a 3-time series champion with the Sim-Auto Racing Association. He probably won't make those mistakes, and he's right all over Ryan Matthews. We'll see what he does here with him. See if he can get around him, find a way to get around him, as he's going to probably have really good drive off just based off of what I've seen from last night's race. And might be able to do something with Ryan Matthews. These guys have done pulled away by 1.5 seconds from Zach Novak and Jim Caudell Jr. Ty Spearman's round out your top 5. The old Wiley vet's hanging around. You may hear from him a little bit later on tonight. Go down here to 3 and 4, working lap 85 of 125. You got a good run here coming out of turn 2, going down into turn 3, and Joe's been rolling the bottom, and Matthews is going to protect, pinching down a little bit, and he's going to have a hard time clearing him out at 4 as he's right there on the left rear quarter. He's going to show the nose again. Matthews shuts the door on him. If it was any later in the race, I don't know if Joe would have checked up as hard as he did there for him. But he gave him a break, and we'll try to work him over here once more. Joe looks to be just a little bit loose there out of 4 as he got down on the apron just a little bit. Kind of de-wedged the car, but everything's good to go. You say they're on board with Ron Matthews. He's pretty much chopping wood in there. It looks like, just from what I can see from his gloves, from my point of view, Joe seems to be a little bit steadier. Joe's going to show his nose down into 1 and 2 again. Matthews throws it in there, and it sticks. Now, as we got a caution, Joe Schaefer Jr., that's not what you want to see. That's our 6th caution here tonight. Lap 88, 89. Not 100% sure. Maybe been Justin Trombley they got in that. Go ahead and pull that up here. He's going down pit road, and we'll see what happens as he's right there behind Brandon Wilkinson and we're Challoner. And that's just another tough break. Just really hard racing there with him and Cameron Hamilton coming out of turn 4, and then came up and just got hooked there on the right rear. I believe that was the 18 of Donald Clark, and I don't think that's really Donald's fault or maybe even Trombley's fault. It was just what caused that little stack up prior to. Now, Justin Trombley more likely is going to be your winner here tonight for the head-to-head HoddsPride.com throwdown between him and Drew Kryback. Drew Kryback is 51 laps back, so forget about it. So he will be your winner here for tonight, so he'll pick up a little extra cash, even though he just caught a couple of tough breaks here. So if there's any consolation prize for that, he can fix up the car and use the money for that. So like I said, this is the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. SARA TV that you're currently watching, please come back and join us next week as we will be at Stafford Motor Speedway for 150 laps of action there. This is the dynamic Autosports 125 currently here tonight at USA. Thanks for coming out and joining us. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you're just now joining us, shame on you, but sit back and get ready for some intense last 30 laps of action of this super late model series action here at Sim Auto Racing Association. It should be a good one as Joe Schaefer Jr. has worked his way up to 2nd, but he has Zach Novak on him in 3rd, and we have seen the kind of restarts that Ryan Matthews has got all night long. Like I said, we've had 6 cautions, so he's had 7 attempts at it if you count the initial start of the race. But he has not had Joe Schaefer Jr., who is a 3-time series champion, to the outside of him. So Joe Schaefer Jr. has been through everything as far as restarts go as a leader or even in 2nd or 3rd or what have you. Zach Novak is no slouch himself. So it could get extremely interesting going down into turn 1 on this restart as we're coming, the pace cars in 3 and 4. Most likely it'll be 1 to go once it crosses the start-finish line. Jim Caudell has fallen back to 4th place here so far. We'll see, maybe starting a row further back, maybe he can get off to a little better start than he has in prior restarts. And that third row, I think, is the row to watch out for. You got Ty Spearman, who qualified 10th here tonight, and Jimmy Mullis, who qualified 7th. We spoke with him earlier. He's the last season series champion here in his JDR graphics machine. And those two guys have been fast here all night, just working their way up to the front. Tons of fast cars still running. We'll see how it ends up playing out as the restart is on Ryan Matthews. The pace car will be pulling off. We are green, green, green. Matthews gets off to a good start. Joe Schaefer Jr. is right there on him, falling into second. We got a battle for third for Zach Novak and Jim Caudell Jr. Jimmy Mullis was able to get down in front of Ty Spearman. Here Joe Schaefer Jr. And as we, looks like we have a wreck. Like Challenger got the hook. Someone got into him there. Christian Challenger's unfortunate break there for the 78 car. We'll have to pull that back up. And this is what's unfortunately going to happen here late in these races. No one's going to be given any room. We'll see exactly what happened with him here. As they go back here on the replay, see Hudson there down below him. Got Brandon Wilkinson just down on the inside, the 56 car, the Sim Marketing Solutions. Bars there, 3 wide once again. Hudson Metaros kind of hit doors, and Challenger was the odd man out on the outside. As the old saying goes, 4 is better than 8. In this case, 8's better than 12. Challenger just got moved there a little bit. So that's, yeah, he did a great job of keeping it off the wall. It shows you pro status and what he knows how to do behind the wheel of the race cars. Hudson had a pretty good run on Metaros getting down to 3, and he threw it down in there, and it just funneled down in there. So just nowhere to go. 3 cars fighting for 2 lanes. So this next restart, once again, Ryan Matthews is going to pull it out. Now, he's shown that he's had great restarts, and with the gearing in these cars for this track, you got a few different options, really. You could be a 3rd gear setup, which is what I ran last night, and it seemed to work really well in restarts, but I was getting out-legged down the straightaways after a while. Or you can have a 4th gear one, which you could be still hitting the limiter pretty good halfway down the straightaway, or if you have it set up, which I think some of these guys do, it's probably hitting the limiter probably about 100 feet or so just before you get into the turn. So it can kind of bog the car down. So any kind of hesitation out of you on the restart can really cost you, especially if someone else is on their game. So that's why it's able to help Ryan Matthews out on these restarts. Obviously, he knows when he's going, or at least one would hope, and as soon as he takes off, he's obviously got a leg up on everyone else due to the gearing and the power in these cars. Got some drivers talking on the drivers channel. I have it muted currently, but they're talking back and forth, and it's mainly from the top 10 guys. So they may be talking about trying to get this thing to end under green, as we're going to be coming to lap 100 of 125. It would be interesting to see how this all plays out if it does go green. I think Joe Schaefer Jr. has something for Ryan Matthews, and I'm pretty sure Zach Novak and Jim Caudell Jr. and Jimmy Mullis would like to have a say in it as well. As we're coming to 1 to go, they'll double it back up here once again. See if Joe Schaefer Jr. learned anything on that last restart. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Joe's runs single monitors. He's not running triples, if I'm not mistaken. So he may have a little harder time. You see him lagging back just a little bit. Have a little harder time of seeing Ryan Matthews' car out of his monitor. If you're running triples, it's a little bit easier to see. Or if you have a Rift or something like VR, where you can just turn your head and look. As they're doubled up here, Joe's peeked out just a little bit. And they're green, green, green. Matthews gets off to a great start. Now Joe's going to get some pressure there from Novak, but he throws it down into 1 and 2, and he's able to come out in second. As Mullis is now trying to get around Jim Caudell Jr. for 4th. Caudill Jr. looks like he gets loose on entry, and they're 3 wide there back behind him, and he's going backwards, unfortunately. They're able to get it figured out there between those 3 guys. As the race is on in the battle for first, Ryan Matthews has led every single lap, 102 laps here tonight that he has led. But these last few laps, 103, coming on 103 now, these last few laps are going to be, palms are sweaty, he's going to be nervous. Now Matthews has won here once before, so he knows how to get it done. But with this stacked field, as we got one looped around coming out of turn 4, looks like that was the 25 car of Tyler Breeding. And I caught that out of the corner of my eye. He was battling with Matthew Eddy. You have Trevor Edwards there as well. That may have been a netcode issue. We'll see what happens. Goes down to 3 and 4. Yeah, there's a little netcode. I know, or I believe, I won't say I know, I think iRacing's working on the crash boxes on these things as well. But, there's still 6 inches to a foot between those 2 cars there. And, even if they did touch, a little door rub like that wouldn't loop him around like that. So it's an unfortunate break. I'm not too sure if Matt Eddy is going to claim that or not. The netcode deals are pretty hard to, say it was your fault or not, especially if you know it was a netcode deal. But it's a tough break there for Tyler Breeding. I don't think it was anything intentional on Matthew Eddy's part. They were just racing hard. And he unfortunately got turned around. That is our 8th caution here tonight. Some of them were self-inflicted. The other ones are just hard racing. And then there's some other ones that probably could have been avoided. But it is our first race of the season. Usually after the first race, everyone kind of gets a feel for each other. Everything gets ironed out, and we have some really great racing. We've had some really great racing here tonight as well when it has been under the green flag. Ryan Matthews has caught pressure from Jim Caudill Jr. and now Joe Schaefer Jr., and he's been able to hold him off here so far. We'll see if he can do it here for the last 19 laps or so. As he's been showing, he's had pretty strong car. Matt Rolfe, our league admin, just got his 6th. Is that correct? Is that what you're telling me up there in the booth or in the truck? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's just got his 6th lucky dog, so he's now back on the lead lap. I don't know how you do that. That may be a record, especially here at the Sim Auto Racing Association. So kudos to Matt Rolfe for keep going out there in his super late model. He's probably down on power, judging by the nose of the car, but he just got his 6th lucky dog. Not too sure if that's a record you want to hold, but he holds it. Because we didn't keep track of it before until now, so he holds it. So starting here in your top 5, Ryan Matthews is leading the way. Joe Schaefer Jr. in 2nd, Zach Novak in 3rd, Jimmy Mullis 4th, Dallas Pataska rounds out your top 5, and just give you an idea of the I rating that's going on here. Your leader currently has the lowest I rating at 61.19. Okay, the highest is Jimmy Mullis at 69.66. There are 2 pro drivers in Zach Novak and Jimmy Mullis there running 3rd and 4th, and then super high A-class drivers there for 1st, 2nd, and 5th. No slouches here in Sim Auto Racing Association. You will have some guys with some lower I rating, but I can guarantee you if they cared the least little bit about it, they would have, easily 5,000 I rating or higher. So, but we'll see what happens with these guys. These guys up front are super fast. And if this thing can stay green, we could see a really good battle coming down towards the checkers. Should be coming to 1 to go here. Well, let me go back live. I'm new. Here we go. This pace car pulls off. We are green, green, green. Joe Schaefer Jr. gets a lot better restart as he shows his nose on the outside. And he's going to try to peek on the outside. It's not going to happen. It's going to square him off. Square off the turn here. He's going to try to get a good drive, which he did coming down the backstretch. Ryan Matthews still able to outleg Joe Schaefer Jr. down the backstretch. Jimmy Mullis falls into third. Zach Novak is fourth now. Like Joe gets a little bit loose out of 4. As the race is on here, everyone knows that the laps are counting down. It's lap 111 of 125, and now is the time to go. As Ty Spearman and Bill Martin is battling back there for the 7th and 8th spot. That's your double foul. It's 2x2 going back there through the top 10, but the battle for the lead is the place to be and the place to watch, as Ryan Matthews is pulling away a little bit from Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe Schaefer Jr. got to be a little bit concerned as he's shown speed all night. He had speed in practice, in qualifying, and then the race practice, and then here we are in the race. And he started 6th here tonight after the 6-car invert. Not able to do anything with Ryan Matthews. Matthews' car is holding strong, and nothing against Ryan Matthews, but I'm a little bit shocked by it. I mean, he's been up here just running super hard the whole race, and the car still has speed left in it. So kudos to him and the setup and whoever helped him with that, or if it was just him himself. But the car is fast. They go back down into 3 and 4. Coming to lap 115 of 125. Top 3 cars are starting to pull away. You have last year's series champion and Jimmy Mullis and 3-time series champion Joe Schaefer Jr. in second. These guys battled it out last year for the series championship, and as I stated, Mullis came out on top. It should be between those two guys once again if everything holds true. Right now, they're chasing after Ryan Matthews. Down to 10 to go. Matthews pulling, got another caution. If you're Ryan Matthews, it's not what you want to see at all. As you were just starting to pull away from Joe Schaefer Jr. Try to find out who that was exactly. Not 100% sure who it was. Now here, just to also let you know, with the Super Series and the Contender Series, with the Contender Series, like stated, if you win the race, you can get a provisional for tonight. Tonight's series is just invite only. Now, with that being said, just because you got invited for the Super Series does not mean that you cannot be demoted down to the Contender Series. If you cause too many cautions, you have too many incident points, what have you, if the admins deem that you need to maybe go back down to Contender Series, prove yourself down there, then you can get the invite back up to the race, not necessarily have to win in the Contender Series. There are some drivers that are eligible for both, as we've seen here tonight and stated here that some of them have ran both. But with this being the 9th caution, the admins will go back and look at some of these and see what's going on with some of these cautions, and just take note of it. And not saying anyone's going to get demoted right away, but it is always an option, throughout the season. And so you may see some guys that show up late in the season that make a name for themselves in the Super Series to get the invite in for next season. You may see some guys fall out. You won't see it on TV, but in the Contender Series, and they'll just do battle down there and try to, make their name for themselves to get back up and get the invite. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. I don't suspect any of that happening here tonight, as just tonight could be the first night jitters. There are some people that are coming off from a long layoff of racing, as they put a lot of time and effort into the Sim Auto Racing Association only. And whenever we do have our breaks, people take breaks, and they do not get on the sim. They come in here either a couple hours or maybe even a week before, and then once you get into the race situation, they just kind of got to get back into things, get back into the flow of things. If you're Ryan Matthews, you did not want to see that caution. He's got to put together one more restart here, as we're probably going to have about 4 to go when we go green. He's going to put together one restart, and 3 Q laps pretty much. He's going to get a lot of pressure from Joe Schaefer Jr. He's probably going to get even more pressure from Jimmy Mullis. We'll have to pay attention to that, see who's able to get to either the rear or right rear, left rear quarters of Ryan Matthews on this restart. If Mullis is able to get beside Joe Schaefer Jr., he might be able to do something with Ryan Matthews. But Matthews has held strong here tonight. Let's see how all this ends up shaking out. We are coming to 1 to go. Lights are off the pace car. Donald Clark was given an EOL for that last caution there, by the way. I'm not too sure exactly what happened with him, but he took the EOL, so he owned up to that one. We are doubled up here coming down the backstretch one last time here tonight for the Dynamic Autosports 125. This car will be pulling off here shortly, and as soon as it's off the racing surface, we'll have to pay attention to Ryan Matthews and what kind of start he gets. Joe Schaefer's leading out just a little bit. We are green, 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 and Schaefer gets off to a really good start. This is the best start we've seen anyone get on Ryan Matthews here tonight. As we get another caution down the front, it's Ty Spearman. That's going to probably do it for the race, as Matthews, I believe, was deemed to be out front during all that. I know the old Wiley vet got caught up in that. We'll go back and watch that here real quick. Not too sure what happened. Spearman. Oh, it looks like Bill Martin missed a shift. Well, he's, according to the chat, he says engine blew on shift to 4th, but the way it looked and the way it slowed down, it looks like he went from like 3rd to 2nd. I can't confirm or deny that, but it looks like that he missed a shift there, and it just stacked up the whole field, which is unfortunate. So I'm not 100% sure what happened with it, but his engine did blow one way or the other way. He missed a shift, or if it just blew. I know the temperatures aren't too hot here tonight, so if he was running behind someone for a while, it may have gotten a little warm on him. So we'll have to ask one of these top 3 finishers here when we get them an interview after the race and see if they are even paying attention to their oil or water temps. But Ryan Matthews will be your winner here tonight in the Dynamic Autosports 125. Led it from wire to wire after he got that 6-car invert. That's all he needed. Held off challengers from Jim Caudell Jr. and Joe Schaefer Jr. and got some cautions at a fortunate time and sometimes an unfortunate time. And either way, he made it work out for him. It's going to be a huge win to start the season there for him in his S&M Auto Service, Denise Matthews Real Estate, Mechanicsville Paint and Body Shop, Ford Fusion. He will take it however he can get it. And like I said, it's a great win for him here tonight. Joe Schaefer Jr. will be second. Jimmy Mullis will be third. So we'll be able to talk to those drivers here shortly after the race. Get their 2 cents on how the race went here tonight. See what they got to look forward to as well. We had 10 cautions there on the night. Ryan Matthews did set the fastest lap early on in the race at a 1992. And like I said, he led every lap. Congratulations to Ryan Matthews, who is your winner here tonight. We'll go ahead and pull the results up here. Let you see the top 10 finishers. And like I stated, Ryan Matthews comes away with the win. Dominating fashion, leading every lap. Second, Joe Schaefer Jr. Third, Jimmy Mullis. Fourth, Dallas Pataska. Good job for him as he won last night's Contender Series race here. Didn't qualify extremely well, and made his way up to 4th. And we spoke to him, and he thought he had a good race piece, and he proved it right there as he finished 4th. 5th is Zach Novak. 6th, Adam Benefield. 7th, Tyler Hudson. 8th, Brandon Wilkinson. 9th, Trevor Edwards, who got involved in an accident not too what doesn't seem like not too long ago. And he finishes 9th. Jim Caudell Jr., after battling Ryan Matthews what seemed like the whole race, will round out your top 10. Go ahead and look back here through 20th. Got Dante Curtis, Keith Medeiros, Ryan Doucette, Matthew Eddy, Christian Challoner, Ian Lane, good to see him out here with us, Cameron Hamilton, Matt Rolfe, Tyler Breeding, and rounding out your top 20 is Samuel Roush. 21st, we'll go ahead and finish up the whole rest of the lineup here. 21st is Donald Clark. 22nd, as we've seen with Bill Martin, with an engine expiring there, maybe on the restart, one way or the other, finishing 22nd. Ty Spearman, after a great run running up front for the majority of the night, got caught up in his own teammates' mess. They're finishing 23rd. Justin Tromley, who won the Heinz Pride throwdown, the head-to-head throwdown with Drew Kryback, finished in 24th. 25th, David Kikorian. 26th, AJ Rogers. 27th, Michael Goddard. 28th is Drew Kryback. 29th, Jared Boris. And 30th, last but not least, Daryl Hamlin. Yeah, we'll go ahead and see if we can get Jimmy Mullis pulled in here and speak to him and see how his race went. Jimmy, we see that you finished 3rd here tonight. We spoke to you prior to the race, and you started out 7th, so you're +4 here on tonight. There were a lot of cautions there towards the end. If it had gone green, do you think you had anything for Joe or for Ryan?
I do think our car was a little better than Ryan's was. I think we were about even, if not a little worse than Joe. But I don't know, man. This race was kind of weird. I expected some yellows because, start of the season. It's kind of how last season went. So, but when we did get the longer runs, 20 or so laps, like the car would just come in, and right as it would come in and me and Zach would start, picking up on the leaders, yellow would come out. So we didn't really get luck in that regard. But, I mean, it's a good showing for the first race of the season. 2 cars in the top 5. So, just move on to next week and work harder on trying to get this thing better.
Yeah, and speaking of next week, we'll be at Stafford Speedway for the Midwest Power Source 150. It's with a flat track there for you. You really excel in those, it seems like. So what do you expect for next week?
Yeah, I struggled there last season because it was my first time racing there. I kind of know what to look for a little bit more than I did, prior to ever racing there. But still, going to have to put in a lot more time than I usually do because, just trying to find the speed because I really don't know what I'm doing there, in all honesty. So, probably going to get started on that sometime this weekend, and hopefully we'll have a good car again. But yeah, like you said, the flat track stuff has been pretty good. At least last season it was. So,
right.
Hopefully some of that stuff translates.
Well, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for you. You had a solid run here tonight. I really liked your paint scheme. I've seen that once you got on track there. So that thing looks sharp out there under the lights. Is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give here for your 3rd place finish?
Just thanks to you guys for the broadcast. Like I said, pre-race. Thanks to JD for the great scheme. It really does look good. It pops. So it's fun to look at. I really like it. Thanks to my teammates, especially Zach. He put in laps for me this week and kind of, let me relax a little bit because he gave me feedback on how the car was, and that's really all you can ever ask for. And thanks to RacingVirginia.com for being on the quarter panels as well. Obviously, they're with me for NPAS and stuff, so thanks again to them, and thanks to you guys again for the broadcast.
Hey, not a problem. It was a joy watching you bounding your way up there a little bit, and we'll catch you next week, bud.
Thank you.
All right. That was last season's champion, Jimmy Mullis, comes away in 3rd place here tonight. We'll go ahead and bring in the 3-time series champion, Joe Schaefer Jr. And Joe, we watched you as you kind of battled your way up there to the front. You qualified on pole, but due to the 6-car invert, you started 6th here tonight. And you made your way up there to Ryan Matthews' bumper, but you never could get around him. But what were you lacking there late in the run?
Well, I mean, you know me, and I don't know who said it. I'd wreck my mom to win a race, but the first week of the season, I didn't feel like I could move him, and it's just so hard to pass. I don't know what it was. The outside was preferred, seemed like, to pass, but the inside was controlling the restart, so you never really got a chance to settle in and race. And I mean, I had him locked in, I don't know, with about 30 to go, and somebody threw it 3 wide and caused a big wreck in the back of the pack. And then after that, it was just caution after caution. I never got a chance to get back to him and race him. And then that last restart, I tried to time it out, get way ahead of him, and even up going into one, and I had him, but caution came out.
Well, yeah, there were a few too many cautions here tonight. Some were self-inflicted, others were due to hard racing and some net code, and then some other stuff was unnecessary. We did see that, and the admins will obviously look at that. But going forward into next week, we'll be at Stafford. You usually run really well there at Stafford. So what do you look forward to into next week, and what kind of performance you think you'll give?
Well, I hope I can bring a setup with the same amount of drive we had this week and last year at Stafford. So I'll probably be in Ty Majeski's ear this week asking for any kind of setup advice, and hopefully he can get online and help us some like he did this week.
Yeah, he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's undefeated there, as we stated last season. And so, yeah, any help you can get from him would obviously be tremendous help. But you do come away in second place here tonight. And is there any things or shout outs you'd like to give before we get you on your way?
Yeah, I have to thank the posse, Cody at Loco Toco Designs, Charlie at the Button Box Shop, and as always, you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Hey, well, we enjoy it. We enjoyed watching you work your way up to the front there, and just one spot shy this week. And good luck to you next week. Maybe you put it on top of the box.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Joe Schaefer Jr. coming away in second place here tonight. We'll go ahead and bring in Ryan Matthews, who is your winner here tonight for the Dynamic Autosports 125. Ryan, we've seen that you qualified 6th here tonight. And due to the 6-car invert, you started out on pole, and you didn't look back from there as you led every lap after that. You had some challengers along your way with Joe Schaefer Jr. and Jim Caudell Jr. there early on, but you had a strong car. Did those cautions help you or hurt you there as the race went on, or later on in the race?
Yeah, they were definitely pressuring me. Them cautions helped me out a lot because as soon as I was getting past, the caution came out and I could let my tires cool off, and because I coming off the turn, the rear tires were spinning a little bit, so didn't have much drive off. But those cautions definitely helped me out.
Yeah, I mean, just from watching it from our point of view up here into the booth, and for everyone that was watching there at home on SARA TV, even if someone was able to show you a nose, even going down the backstretch or even in the turn, or even get up beside you, you're able to fight them off there on the outside. But here at SARA, the leader has to start on the inside. So did you have any concerns of someone maybe just sticking it on the outside on you on the restarts, and you're not be able to get up there and defend?
No, I didn't have any concerns about that. I think usually I could get out front as soon as the pace, as soon as I go, and not have anybody on my outside or anything. But Joe kind of scared me there at the end, but nah, I was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, congratulations to you here. Once again, like you said, you led all the laps here at USA. You had a stout piece. You had a solid qualifying run, and then you were just up front there the whole time. Now, next week, we're at Stafford Speedway, and, I asked Jimmy and Joe the same thing. I'm about to ask you, what do you think you got going into next week? You got anything that you can contend with?
I hope so, but last time we were at Stafford, I didn't do too well, but maybe I can do a little bit more tests and get it right. Take over another one.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out on you, and we'll definitely talk about you since you won this week. Is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give to anyone for your win here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my dad, S&M Auto Service, Mechanical Paint and Body Shop, Denise Matthews Real Estate, and Sim Marketing Solutions.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on your win here tonight in dominating fashion. Good luck to you next week, and we'll see what you can do there.
Thanks, man.
All right, bud. That was your winner here tonight, Ryan Matthews in the Dynamic Autosports 125. We'll go ahead and bring in the series admin, Matt Rolfe, who is now your all-time leader in Lucky Dogs in one race with 6. Matt, we just started keeping that stat, so you're obviously the all-time leader. You had a rough race here tonight, and before we get to talking about anything else, we didn't quite see what got you into trouble there, so what happened with you there early on?
Yeah, obviously it's not good to gain those 6 lucky dogs, but I was back there. I talked to you guys before the race about running something that Jared Boris put together, and at some point during practice, I went to try a different setup real quick, and accidentally left it in and had the wrong gear in it. So I was working my way backwards pretty quickly, and then when I was back at the back of the pack, I got caught up when one of the wrecks that happened back there, and it got There's no caution for it, so that's why you probably didn't see it. And I had about 30 seconds of required and a minute and a half of optional damage to fix. So I just stayed down pit road and fixed it, and just planned on logging laps the rest of the race. And next thing I knew, late in the race there, I got all my laps back. But unfortunately, that's not a good thing, because that means we had a bunch of cautions, which is not what you want to see in week one. But it's early in the season. We kind of get that from time to time. But so that's what happened there.
Yeah, we had 10 cautions here tonight, which, we've talked about it a handful of times already, which is obviously more than what we wanted. Some of them were self-inflicted with self-spins. Other ones were just due to hard racing, which will happen, right? You expect those type of cautions. And then some of them were unneeded. And but as you stated, we always usually get them ironed out after even maybe after the first race. So going into next week, it's the Midwest Power Source 150 at Stafford. I know you didn't have what you wanted here tonight just because you accidentally put in the wrong setup, but do you expect anything good out of your piece next week?
Yeah, I think so. Our setup at Stafford on the T4X team is pretty good. We just ran there with 2 weeks to go in the last season, so it's really only been a couple races since we've been there, so that should make it a little bit easier for not only us but everybody else to kind of get back in the swing of things at that track. Having just been there a couple weeks ago, I know we've had a long off season, but it's still pretty fresh for everyone. So, hopefully we can get things turned around. USA here tonight, it's kind of a tough track. It's one that I've never really adapted to that well, but a lot of other guys do prefer this track over some others, but it was still really hard to pass here tonight for some reason. In addition to having cautions kind of spread out throughout the race, we never really get a super long run in, but even when you could get underneath guys here, it seemed like a lot of guys are struggling to make passes, so it was tough to pass. But I think next week at Stafford, it's a little bit flatter. It's going to be harder for guys to hold people off on the outside groove, so we'll see a little bit more passing and hopefully some cleaner racing next week too.
Yeah, and going into that, there's a lot of fast guys that are going to be showing up there once again. We'll see what happens with the Contender Series for the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series and see who comes out of that to go into that race. Now, tonight we also had the head-to-head challenge there for the HeidsPride.com throwdown between Drew Kryback and Justin Trumbley. Who was the winner out of that one?
Looks like Justin Trumbley finished ahead of Drew. They both, looks like they got caught up in wrecks, kind of had to leave the session a little early and pack it up. But, Justin Trumbley came out on top there. It's unfortunate neither one were able to finish the race here tonight, but that's how it goes sometimes. And so Justin will walk away with a little bit of prize money just for that. And this head-to-head throwdown thing this season is going to be pretty cool. And, we're going to pick a random row every week. So this week it was row 10. Maybe next week, it's going to be random. We don't have any idea. But, some weeks we'll have it up in the top 10. We'll have a row up front and see guys battled up there too. So should be pretty interesting to see how it plays out throughout the season. Just gives another thing for these guys to race for each week. It's already tough enough as it is. But if you can just battle against one person and kind of, benefit from that a little bit too, it's helpful for those guys. So that's pretty cool. So we'll see how it plays out next week at Stafford.
Yeah, it should be super exciting to watch. There's just another layer, to add into this series to make it even more exciting than what it already is. But before we go elsewhere or get on with the show, is there any things for shout outs you'd like to give or any other news you'd like to break?
No breaking news, I don't think, right now. So just a big thanks to Sim Marketing Solutions for coming on board for the series of the season. Excited to have them on board. Tonight for Dynamic Autosports being a part of this, sponsoring tonight's race. Obviously, they had some guys in the field here tonight. I'm not sure who I think Dallas was their top finisher. He was a winner last night in the Contender Series, so that just shows kind of what a win last night, in that series can do to help someone in this series. He ran pretty well, so that's good to see. So thanks to Dynamic Autosports, Sim Marketing Solutions, and all of the other sponsors that we have this season. We'll be talking about them a lot this season as we go through, but that's about it, and thanks for you guys for doing the broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. There's some good racing out there tonight, and we'll see how you vote out or fair share how you do next week there at Stafford, as I can't get my words straight. And we'll talk to you then.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you.
That was our series admin and Matt Rolfe, and he didn't have exactly what he needed here tonight under his setup, put in the wrong setup. It's happened to the best of us. And he was just the unfortunate one to do it this week. So we'll see how he ends up doing next week. He usually runs pretty good at Stafford. We'll see what happens at the Midwest Power Source 150 next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at SARA TV. Be sure to set that reminder. You can go to our SARA TV YouTube page and set reminders for all our races that are set up for this year. If you'd like to join SARA, the Sim Auto Racing Association, you can go to racesara.com and sign up for any one of our 4 series, which is the Dirt Night Midgets and UMP mods on Monday night, the Callaway Investment Sportsman series on Tuesday night. Wednesday night is the Contender Series for the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series, which is these super late model cars here. Same weather, same track, same laps, same everything. You're just not facing the top of the line guys. It's like I said earlier in the broadcast, it's the Xfinity Series or to the Truck Series, and the Super Series for the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series, which you're watching here tonight, is like the top level of your Monster Energy Cup NASCAR guys. So, and that is on Thursday nights, obviously, because here we are tonight. Go ahead and bring up the SARA partners one last time. Give all these guys a shout out because, as I stated before, without them, we could not do this and put on such these good shows and have some good prizes and money and stuff to give out to these guys. Tonight for the Sim Marketing Solutions, they sponsored the Super Series here tonight. Davis Chassis Works sponsors our Contender Series on Wednesday nights. Hotz Prize Leather and Sheepskin, which is sponsoring that head-to-head battle that we were talking about earlier for the Throwdown. Midwest Power Source Inc., who's sponsoring next week's race. Callaway Investments, who's the Street Stocks for Tuesday night Sportsman Series sponsor. Race1.us, Canadian Rail Service, the Hub Sim Racing Giveaways, Loco Toco Designs, Dynamic Autosports. Thank you for sponsoring the race here tonight for the Dynamic Autosports 125, USO, Can-Am Racing Series, and the East-West Modifieds. Go ahead and pull the results up here one more time. Let you see the top 10. Ryan Matthews, Joe Schaefer Jr., Jimmy Mullis, Dallas Pataska, Zach Novak is your top 5. And Ryan Matthews comes out here, steals the show, stinks it up a little bit, leads 125 laps here tonight. Huge momentum going into next week at Stafford. You heard him say that he's not too good at Stafford. We'll see if he can carry any of this momentum into there next week. So please do join us there next week, and we'll see these guys go to battle once again for 150 laps at Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see who ends up coming out on top there. Until then, come back. See us at 10 o'clock next Thursday. We'll see you then. Have a good night.